All right, we now welcome back a very good friend of the program, Assistant Director of Operations for Auburn Hoops, Mike Burgomaster. Burgo, welcome back, dude. Thanks again for joining. A day or so removed from that overtime win in Fayetteville, man. You guys were sweating bullets there yesterday, huh?
Yeah, no. So yeah, that was geez, that was last night. So yeah, it was a close one. We got 3 wins on the road this year where we've been down 9, 11, and 19. So we just like to make it interesting. You know, we're like second in Ken Palm's luck rating or whatever. So we're just finding ways to win. But 20-2 is pretty surreal, but we're excited about it.
So can I ask you real quick about Kempom now that you've brought it up?
Yeah.
There's like obviously Taylor and I big Arizona guys, and there's a faction of the fan base that fucking loves stats, net, Ken Palm. Does Bruce and the coaching staff, do you guys like, is that like a Bible for you guys, or is it more of just we know this is where we're at?
I would say it's like, I wouldn't necessarily call it a Bible. I think there's a couple of the guys on our staff that when we use it in scouting or even to like self scout a little bit, I think we use it more as a confirmation of what we see. Like you'll watch tape on a team and like, wow, they get a lot of offensive rebounds, and then you go and see like they're sixth in the nation in offensive rebounding percentage. So it's more, it's more confirmation of what your eye sees. Coach Pearl doesn't really use it a ton. But it allows us to give some talking points to the team, just like like a sixth ranked national offensive rebounding rate. That sticks out. There's 353 teams in college basketball, so that perks the ears up a little bit. But no, it's definitely not a Bible. It's just something we pay attention to.
Do you think that it's useful, say, even more so when the tournament comes? Because I know that there's some kind of rule that a team that's won the national championship has never fallen outside of like the top 15 in either the categories or something like that. Or would you say that you just use kind of the same scouting for every single game, no matter whether it's the tournament or a regular season game at Arkansas?
Yeah, no, I don't think, you like to hope that you fall into that category at the year's end, but no, I mean, I think it wouldn't change how you really use it depending on who you're playing. It doesn't matter the quality of the game or anything like that.
Sure.
We use it pretty consistently just to confirm what we see.
I want to go back, Burgo, to another overtime game that you guys played on the road, and that was in Oxford, Mississippi, against Ole Miss. And so a few episodes ago, I was talking with Taylor and the Shark about how you guys and Butler, there was a 2-week stretch where you were probably not playing as well as you would have liked to, and then you went on the road in tough environments and gutted out victories to avoid kind of a disaster scenario, even though you guys within the team may not describe it as that. Outside lookers may have been like, well, Auburn's struggling. But you went into Ole Miss and won in overtime. But I have to say, man, the ending of that game was a comedy of errors. Like, I might be dating myself here. It's like one of those old-timey Laurel and Hardy, like black and white comedy shows where the piano like falls on their head. Everything just looked so out of whack at the end of the game. People were fouling when they shouldn't have been. Balls were being saved out of bounds when they shouldn't have been saved. Take us through those last couple minutes about what was going through the coaching staff's mind, and then also how you were conveying that message to your team to be like, hey, there's so many opportunities here for us. Stop screwing up.
I mean, you definitely don't go about it necessarily that way. But, I think for us, the reason we came back in that game, and we actually talked about it after the fact, later that week, the reason we came back from a 19-point deficit in the second half is just because, our locker room stayed together the whole time, right? So it's absolutely like a credit to our guys. Now, obviously, the reason why people love college basketball is you can kind of expect the unexpected, the unordinary, like everything you're supposed to do, like always goes the complete opposite direction. So, obviously there's some plays down the stretch in a high pressure game on the road. We just worked our way back. We probably didn't make the prototypical basketball plays that you normally would want to. But I think just you got to give credit to our guys because they just kept coming. And even when on that run back, right? You miss or you turn it over, something like that. You just got to have to understand that, you just got to go possession by possession at that point. And we felt like, when their leading scorer, at the time the leading scorer in the SEC, fouled out with like 5 minutes to go in that game, we felt like we had a really good opportunity to win that game, and just grind it out possession by possession.
We also got a vintage pearl sweat jacket after that. I mean, I'm talking left arm, right arm, back. It was great.
And I don't mean to interrupt, but one of the things about Oxford, that building is so hot. I think it has something to do with whatever, like they have the high tech lights or whatever that are super bright, and it makes their court look great. But it's a really hot building, so I know Coach, he'd sweat in an igloo, but it's tough.
What's the sweat difference this year to last year, or is it just the same?
I think it's the same. I just think that's who he is. I just think that's you're always going to get that from Coach Pearl.
Well, at this point last year, speaking of last year, you guys were unranked. You're something like 15-6, and I don't think that Auburn was ranked until the very final AP poll until before the tournament. So, do you think that there's any difference in expectations from, say, at this point, first week of February last year, as there are this year, or is it always the same? Win the conference tournament, get through the tournament.
Yeah, so I think for us this year, the goal every year, you have your standard goals for every team pretty much. The first thing is going to be, do well in the non-conference. It's going to be protect your home court, right? It's going to be from there. It's going to be win your conference tournament, go to the NCAA tournament. And, one of the things that Coach talks about in the NCAA tournament is just winning every weekend, right? It's just 2 games at a time. You got to win 2 games that week to keep going on. And that's really the mindset you have to look at it for. I think the difference between this year's team and last year's team is, I think last year's team, after, we kind of reached the national scene a little bit just by, and we played Duke close, and I think in our guys' mind a lot, they'd kind of arrived a little bit. And so I think we kind of got away from all the, the little things it takes for a basketball team to consistently win. And, it was, even though we lost, had lost 6 games at this point last year, we weren't getting blown out or anything like that, right? We were losing games where it came down to 1 or 2 possessions. And I think, the focus at this point last year was kind of, having our backs against the wall a little bit, because when we were at one point, I think we were 7-7 in conference. After losing at Rupp Arena, we lost by like 26 or something like that. They were talking about us not really having any quad 1 wins and potentially missing the tournament after, all the hype that we had on last year's team. I think this year, the goals are obviously still to, sorry, let me go back. But so last year when our backs were against the wall, it was just about playing better each game. And eventually, we peaked at the right moment. Obviously, and had a historic run going to the Final Four. This year, I think we're just trying to get better every day. I think we had a bad week where some of our flaws were exposed as far as our ability to shoot a little bit at times, or like our we weren't finishing great at the rim, stuff like that. So I think for this team, the goal is to win the SEC regular season championship, like we set out at the beginning of the year. But it's also to just keep getting better every game, so that we can act and peaking at the right time. Because at the end of the day, what you do in March is what people remember.
So what about, speaking of expectations, do you think that the school or the crowd or campus has a different set of expectations for you this year, or is there a different feel compared to last year? Not to harp too much on last year comparing to this year, but you would imagine going to a Final Four last year, there's got to be an extra couple students in the crowd. There's got to be at least a couple more Auburn basketball shirts you see around campus every day. Is there more of a, say, palpable buzz, as some would put it, around, say, this year's team, just because there is that maybe added expectation after following up a Final Four run?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so. I mean, Auburn, traditionally a football school that's had a very, an elite football program, not just a competitive football program, an elite program. There's high expectations for football every year, and I think us doing something historic last year and returning, 5 seniors, there's definitely heightened expectations coming into this year, which is natural. As your program tends to progress, the expectations are going to progress. I think the biggest, the thing that stuck out the most about this year is, we sold out 2 what we call holiday bleacher games towards the end of December. It's when the students are on break. And we never had like standing room only sellouts in those games in school history before. And we sold out both of our games this year. I think, you see College Game Day coming to our campus last weekend, and, us having a great crowd for that. This will be our this upcoming Saturday, this will be our third 11 a.m. game on a Saturday Central Time. And, the students have been lining up at 3 in the morning. I think, the fan base is unbelievable, and the support's definitely there. With that comes heightened expectations. And I think, it's funny, just like scrolling through Twitter or whatever, like you see last year, 2 years ago when we went on to win the SEC regular season championship, there's so much excitement on every game. And when we lost, it was like, we're proud of you. I think a little bit more this year, even we're 20-2 and you still people see like they stink. Like, what I'm saying? Like it's a good change, but it's a funny change at that.
Burgo, you should be the third or fourth co-host, actually, because that was a beautiful segue into my next question, which is the fact that you guys are 20-2. You're only a year removed from going to the Final Four. You have an established coach in Bruce Pearl. It's not like Bruce Pearl's an up-and-comer. Everyone knows how great he is as a coach at the college basketball level. Is there a chip on your shoulder? Do you feel disrespected? Because from my perspective, I feel like and Taylor brought this up a couple of weeks ago, I feel like there hasn't been a team where fresh off of a Final Four run, they only have 2 losses here in February, and we're really not even talking about them that much.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's definitely a chip on the shoulder. And I think one of the coach's great strengths is, in any circumstance, he can find a way to sort of develop that chip on the shoulder. For us, a while throughout this year, it was, we were undefeated for that long time. And, we weren't ranked very highly. When we did get ranked highly, unfortunately, we lost. But, now, yeah, I mean, people talked about us not really beating anybody. We have a chance if we play well on Saturday to get our 3rd straight quadrant 1 win, which is like the mark of playing somebody. But I think, yeah, there's definitely a chip on our shoulder. Not so much with like the AP rankings, because at the end of the day, that doesn't necessarily matter a ton to us or our guys. But I do think there's always naturally a chip that we don't get the same respect that other Final Four teams that are 20-2 would get. Yeah, I think you nailed it.
So Burgo, I'll let you know this much, man. This program right here, we are an Auburn program, but you're also going to have to share that with Iowa. We're also an Iowa program. We love Luka Garza. Shark loves Seton Hall, so we're a Miles Powell and Seton Hall program. And Illinois. I fucking love Illinois and Brad Underwood. So if you can share some of the pizza with those guys, then we're right in your corner. Is that cool?
Happy to share.
Well, I think a lot we'll have to do. We'll have to focus a lot on Auburn basketball if you guys do beat LSU this weekend. I think this, we talk about this weekend as kind of like that line of demarcation of where everybody starts to pay attention to college basketball. There'd be no better way for everyone to start talking about Auburn again than with a win against LSU this weekend. So tell me a little bit about that. What are you looking for in a matchup against LSU coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, so LSU, they won the regular season championship last year. Obviously, we did with Tennessee 2 years ago. So there's a little bit of a storyline in that. They're right now in sole possession of first place in the SEC at 8-0. And I think they're going to beat Vanderbilt tonight at Vanderbilt to go 9-0. We're at 7-2, and like I said, one of our goals is to win the SEC championship in the regular season. So we need this one really to close the gap. I think what the biggest thing that sticks out about LSU is their ability to offensive rebound. I think they're one of the best. They're 6th nationally in offensive rebounding rate. In the country, which is, an incredible mark. The only team that's better in the SEC is Mississippi State. And I think the biggest kind of stat that sticks out between the two of us is for us offensively, we're second in the amount of free throws we take per field goal attempts, and they're like 20th nationally in not fouling you. It's going to be that's kind of like the immovable force meets the unstoppable objects sort of thing. I may have said that expression wrong, but whatever. So it's going to be a big test for us. We're excited about it. Having the home court. We're 43-3 in our last 46 home games, which is remarkable. So we're excited about it, and it should be a good contest at noon Eastern on, I think it's on ESPN, one of those channels.
Burgo, man, you almost hit us with your own one-liner. You have a one-liner about playing in the jungle and playing at Auburn Arena, don't you?
Yeah. I just always tell people that Auburn Arena is the best home court in the country. So I truly believe that. I mean, all of the college basketball environments I've been to, I can't think of any place really that's louder, even if there's more people. It's just the way the court's set up. It's perfect. The students are right there. Nice, compact. It's good.
So following up, I guess that somewhat to that statement is, you guys only play LSU one time this year, and they're obviously leading the conference. Do you look at that as a benefit or, a curse? Whereas, hey, we can't knock off the top team in the conference twice and give us a better ranking? Or do you look at it as, oh, we don't have to play the team that's leading the conference twice?
It's an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, you can only really play who's on your schedule.
Sure.
At this point, at this point right now that that the lines have kind of cleared a little bit, and who's where. Like, I think you wish that you played them another time. But all we can do is kind of take advantage of the opportunity that we have, and try and close the gap and hope some other teams in the conference do their part as well. I don't really know that you look at it either way, to be honest with you.
Regardless, monster tilt on Saturday against LSU. I want to take it back a few days, though. This past Saturday, you hosted Kentucky. College Game Day was there. You had already mentioned that. Burgo, can you tell us a little bit about how preparation for hosting game day is different than, let's say, a Mississippi State in Starkville on a Tuesday?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's definitely different because we had like 4 or 5 meetings about it, weeks in advance. Just getting our whole administration involved in it, and our marketing department and our event staff, our facilities. We have to get the local police involved, the fire. It's a big event.
Wait, so you're like directing all that traffic as well? You have to
not me. No. I was just in there like talking about when we're going to shoot around and stuff like that. I had a minor role, but sitting in those meetings and it's kind of interesting going from someone that was in college not too long ago and these sort of events taking place to now being on the other side of it and seeing how much prep and everything that has to get thought of. As far, even to the point of like we were talking, one of the things we did is we incentivized students to come to game day by basically giving them an admission prior to the normal opening. So like the first 2,100 students that came to game day got like an exclusive admission half an hour before the doors would normally open. So like, thinking through the logistics of all of that, it sounds really easy in theory, but it's definitely like a completely different prep. Now, as far as, from a basketball staff, we kind of sat back and just got to enjoy it, which was cool. It's you see those guys on TV, every Saturday, and to see them live in front of you is on your court, and to then go back and watch the replay of the show and be like, wow, like that was surreal for sure. But no, I mean, it's no extra prep, but we go about every game like it's just another game, because at the end of the day, that's all it is, one game at a time.
To follow up on that real quick, Burgo, Pearl gave us a wonderful soundbite pregame. And I mean, you were there. You might have to keep me honest. And actually, if you can say it verbatim, that'd be even better. But he said something to the effect of, "We're fixing to have a great day." Yeah.
No, that's he was just talking about how, like, how historic the day was for our program. I mean, to have College Game Day come for the first time in history, and then to beat Kentucky at home. I mean, to beat Kentucky twice in a row in our last 7, to be winning four out of the last 7. I mean, it's crazy. He said we're fixing to have a good day, and we did. We had a great day.
You can say you own Kentucky. beat them in the tournament too to get to a final. Go ahead, Virgo.
I'm not going to put any bulletin board material up, but I know they're listening. So,
I remember we did. We had a number of College Game Days for Arizona basketball when I was in school, and I know at one of them they tried to do the early admission situation as well because the game wasn't until like 7 p.m. that night, and that turned into just an absolute disaster of just like security guards and figuring out where everybody was supposed to sit. But awesome experiences. Yeah, it's super cool. I wish it's one of those things that makes you wish you're still in college, to go back and do.
No doubt.
So can I take this to a non-basketball place for a moment?
Absolutely.
You might have an idea of where I'm going with this and what Monday night TV program I'm about to ask you about.
Yeah, sure.
Is Madison Pruitt the secret to another Final Four run for Auburn this year?
I definitely think she definitely.
No spoilers, by the way. No spoilers. Yeah. First off, okay.
No, I definitely think she's brought more attention to the program. I don't know that she's the key, but no, it's awesome. It's cool to see Maddie on there, and it's the positive buzz she gets and stuff like that. It's cool, and I work with her father Chad every day, and
right.
I know he was nervous about when the show first came out, and I think he's seeing a lot of the positive that's coming from it. So it's cool. We're excited for her.
So without saying anything aloud, did we get a Mike Burgomaster appearance on a potential hometown date?
They would never put me on camera. That's not a spoiler. That's just obvious.
They wouldn't put you on camera, dude, because they dump Pete the Pilot in a heartbeat. Auburn's most eligible bachelor. Are you eligible, actually?
Currently not. But,
see, that is what I'm talking about. I don't give a damn about the X's and O's and how you guys send it to manual quickly. That's what I want to know.
Oh shit, that's great.
That's great, man. Can you tell me a little bit actually about Isaac Okoro's pregame ritual?
Oh yeah. So Isaac, our warm up, we break it down guards and bigs, and at the end of the guard segment, Isaac takes this fadeaway jumper like from 30 feet out, and he's never come close to making it. But every time he's like, I'm making it today. And for whatever reason, I don't know, I just started filming it, started calling it the worst tradition in sports. So hopefully he never makes it because we're off to a pretty good start. So I think that's probably the key.
It came out of nowhere, right? He just decided to start taking fadeaway half court jumpers.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he's been doing it his whole career. I started noticing it like 2 games into the season. So, and he's done it every game. So, hopefully Isaac keeps on keeping on.
I love that. So before I shift it back over to Taylor, Burgo, this upcoming Saturday is Duke Carolina. For my money, the greatest rivalry in all of sports. Do you have a favorite Duke Carolina memory growing up?
I mean, I don't have a favorite Duke Carolina memory. My favorite memories about Duke Carolina when I was at Miami. And Duke was the number 1 team in the country, and at Miami we were 25th, and we beat them by like 20 and stormed the court. So that's my favorite Duke Carolina memory. That same year, actually, we beat North Carolina 3 times that season. So there's my favorite Duke North Carolina memory for you.
Was that the Shane Larkin years?
That was
Kenny Kaji?
Yep, that was that team.
That was a wagon.
Kenny Kaji is one of my all-time favorite college basketball players. No shit. What on which preview show did I have Kenny Kaji as? Was it just our ACC preview show? I picked him as my center.
Yeah, we were just naming random people.
I think I picked him as my starting center for my all-time favorite ACC
Stretch
basketball team.
Stretch 5. That's a good starting center, especially in today's game.
Would he be knocking down more of those fadeaway 30-footers before the game?
No doubt. That's what he took. I mean, he'd have a step in 3-pointer and he'd fade away.
Well, I guess my last question for you is really kind of a simple or open-ended one. Is I guess just what's the key for Auburn to end the year? To meet all of the goals that you guys want to meet this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for us just getting, like I said, getting better every single game and trying to learn something from each game. I think we've shown that we can find different ways to win. I think that's why just talking about the luck thing on KenPom, like luck is more, he calls it luck to try and kind of be funny, but it's really like statistical error, which means, we're not winning how we're supposed to win. And I think, that's a sign of a mature team doing that. So I think, it's for us to get for us to get better at each game and to be more consistent offensively, stick to what we do defensively. I mean, we just want to hit our stride come March. And, that's the most fun month in all sports, in my opinion. And, hopefully we can make another run.
Same.
Well, for whatever it's worth, you guys were 162nd in luck last year, and you turned out pretty well. So hopefully that, having were you second this year? Is that what you said?
We're second. We're second. Hopefully we keep being lucky.
You're trending in the right direction, I guess. So.
Speaking of March and March Madness, Burgo, we're going to do a live show for Selection Sunday. Just go pick by pick, as Gumble tells us. And you know how sometimes they'll call or have a interview with the coaches after the seeds are revealed. We might do the exact same with you right afterwards and see how you guys are doing. Do you guys have anything planned? I mean, look, you obviously are thinking about the next game, but do you guys have a tradition for watching Selection Sunday? Do you know what you'll be doing, or is it different each year?
I mean, so, it's been in the 2 years that I've been here, it's been different each year. The first year we knew we were going to make it. We had like a big thing in actually like our football film room, just because it holds a bunch of people. And, so we had like a big viewing party. Last year we actually were still in Nashville because we had just won the SEC tournament. So we watched it. We streamed it late, so like it got leaked. We got leaked to us on Twitter because we were watching. They didn't have like a cable set up in the hotel, so we were watching it on a computer stream.
Come on, SEC.
Yeah, it went down at one point. It was a whole mess, but we'll see. Hopefully we're watching it in Nashville again. That's one of the goals. If not, I'm sure we'll be back in the football film room with 150 of our closest friends. So.
Yeah. No, that's very true. I keep forgetting the SEC is one of those Sunday title games, and that'll lead right up to Greg Gumbel. And I'll let you go on this, Burgo. Over Thanksgiving, you were back home in our hometown, City of Champions, Westford, Massachusetts. I mean, was the paparazzi out now that you're a Final Four type coach? Were people tugging on your jacket? What was going on there, man?
No, it wasn't. It was pretty low key. It's good. The paparazzi didn't follow me around too much. They typically do around here a lot. So, it was nice to have a nice quiet little time in Westford, Massachusetts, where, not no one, but there's a lot of people that don't care a ton about college basketball. So it was nice. I got to be off the radar a little bit.
You weren't wearing the ring, like the Final Four ring or anything like that around, and just casually just sitting it down on the table every time, like, oh, dink. Hey, I'll take a Bud Light, please. Yeah. Oh, hey, man, what's up? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit you. That's my bad.
No, I think I learned my lesson when freshman year of college, when I went back and still wore my Letterman jacket to the football game. I think that's when I learned. There's no reason to really show off like that. You know what I'm saying? It's you can just be kind of humble about it.
Fuck that, dude. You went to a Final Four. You don't have to be humble about anything. But as always, we really appreciate the time, man. Best of luck going forward. Send Bruce and the boys our regards, and we'll see you down the line. All right.
Appreciate you guys.
Thanks.